I'm John. I'm 45. This really shouldn't be my life still. It's Wednesday, and I'm going to swing across you conversationally, not unlike a diuretic trapeze artist. Um, so before we do any more battle royale zero build chatter, um, I wanted no. I'm gonna give you a sort of a heads up, a warning. You're about to see something deeply, deeply ugly, but there is a reason that I am showing this. Um, so if you're ready, or even if you're not ready at this point, that's too late. But what? But what? Um, it still deeply saddens me to see this turn up because honestly, I mean, what features does it have in the game? Does it just sort of lock up and give you the opportunity to burn to death in it? Because that's what happens with Cybertrucks. Um, but that's not the reason that I was showing this. Just to rant at it. But I noticed there was a decal on this that really, really made me laugh. Um, are you ready? Uh, that's really made me laugh. That's really chuckled me. Um, so I don't know if anybody remembers Musk doing some sort of expo where he was demonstrating how tough the Cybertruck windows are, and they invited somebody up onto the stage, and they gave him a rock and told him to throw it at the window. That sort of go on, see how hard you can hit it, and he basically did that to it. And and they all looked a bit embarrassed for a second and said, "Oh, you must have just caught some sort of weak spot, possibly." And they gave him the rock back and go have another go and have a go on the other window, and he did it again. um, so I mean that man cannot go anywhere without getting roasted, which I'm fully on board with. But the fact that they can do, we were talking yesterday or whenever it was about product endorsements and deals that must happen to get various things onto Fortnite, and including this. But I love the fact they can't even do that without having a dig. That's fantastic. For somebody who's massively against socialism, he's really good at getting publicly owned. Um, yeah, and I was talking about product endorsements and adverts and things on here, wasn't I? And look, just trainers, lots of trainers. Um, anyway, let's breathe out, relax, and shoot some people on an island. I love the way this little lobby area fully allows me to indulge my antisocial tendencies. Because as soon as I'm confronted with a series of people dancing and doing really silly things, here's me. I'll just go off and ignore them. I'll happily ignore every one of these people. This would be a great way to discover that I do actually have proximity chats on, isn't it? I hate all these pricks. Everybody just gangs up on me at once. Right. Here's a question. Do you think that some people who are on the internet realise that they are on the internet? Because I think there is rarely a day goes past that I am really surprised that people don't realise that people can see what they're saying. And it's really difficult not to say that rudely. But I mean, I'm going to call somebody out for it because who watches it really? But here's a question for. Did you know that the computer on which you make your gig posters is on a computer which you can also get on the internet to post it with? Now, this might seem like a really odd thing to say, but there is there's a really good reason for it. So I'm going to let you into a secret. This person, so I'm part of various music based local Facebook groups, you know, to like plug gigs in and all this sort of thing. And she sings in pubs, which is fine. And she makes posters, presumably on Photoshop or some sort of photo editing software. And they're perfectly adequate, serviceable posters. There's nothing wrong with them in the slightest. But what she does, though, in order to use the image to plug the gig, she takes a photo of her computer screen with her phone, and you can tell that she does it because in about 3 out of 5 posts you can see the little blinking cursor in the middle of a sentence that she's typed on the poster. Also, there's that very particular pixelation that you can only get from photographing your computer monitor. But I'm equally sure, actually, that on one occasion that the mouse was visible. And I feel like it's the sort of thing where if you're making a poster on a computer and then posting it to the internet, you should be able to post it on the. You should be able to like post the picture from your computer on the internet. And one day I'm going to pluck up the courage to comment on such a post saying, "Did you know that your computer?" Unless I mean, is your computer connected to the internet? I don't know. There are so many questions, and I don't know how many of them are answerable. Also, um, my gag reflex uh, fully kicked in, and again, this was something that I had to fight this back. When I saw somebody post "Happy birthday to an amazing dad and husband," and obviously the thing that I nearly commented was, "You married your dad? That's sick." Who says grammar matters? Not me. I'm fascinated by what people post online. I'm fascinated at what people post online while I'm sitting here doing this and putting this online. So, yeah, you know, people in glass houses. But do you ever think about the people who put on Facebook? Does anybody know what time school's open this week? Um, no, Cynthia. Have you tried asking the school? Right. I think it's weird that somebody can develop a sort of apprehension about asking perfectly legitimate functional questions directly to the facility involved. And yet, for some reason, they're quite happy to ask everybody they know. Oh dear, that's bad. Quite happy to ask everybody they know. I would much rather find out directly from a company what they do or don't allow, or what time they open. I'd rather ask them directly than go. Oh, I tell you what, I'll put this question to everybody I know. Then there will be no doubt that I can't figure out how to look at a schedule. I sometimes realise quite how antisocial I am. But it's just weird. There's just this sort of very odd little mental disconnect between that was terrifying. Crikey. I discovered recently that posting when you're going to be on holiday invalidates your house insurance, which is quite a surprising thing to learn. And now I'm deeply tempted to comment this on everybody I see. I once saw somebody post their entire holiday dates for the year and thought, well, that seems bold. Now I can hear footsteps. When you can see that a Star Destroyer is really battered somewhere because every inch of it is cracked. Okay. Or another good brand of, you know, this is online, right? Is the terminally angry Facebook commenter. And then they're never people that you know. You never especially sort of familiar with them, but they just sort of pop up out of nowhere. And it's always on a post about a community event. So what was the one? What was the one? So a friend of mine sent me one. Um, so somebody posted they had a pop up stand in the middle of town a few months ago, and somebody posted about it saying, if you're in town today, come and get a free bespoke poem written for you here until 3 p.m. And a very angry man called Peter just replied, caps lock, crap, 4 exclamation marks. And I mean, I'm deeply interested in what's made Peter's life such that all he can do is shout crap at complete strangers online. And it put me in mind of something. I think last year they had a vegan market in town, um, and they posted about it, obviously, because you know, if you don't, how will people know where it is? And somebody else, I'm going to call him Peter as well because it was identical. He just commented, "I'm not vegan." Okay, good. Sometimes I wonder to myself what Peter imagines goes on at the vegan market. And is he expecting? What is he expecting? Is he expecting to be fundamentally denied the dignity of actual meat? Is nobody going to let him eat what he wants to eat? He's just minding his own, minding his own, and somebody will just run up and just strap him to a chair and just force feed a vegan sausage roll into his yawning mouth. I kind of hope that's what happens. Just have this image of him just sort of yowling like Chewbacca while holding a gigantic burger that somebody is preventing from going into his mouth. If there's any justice, if anybody sees Peter at a vegan market, they will have, oh, what's it called? If there is any justice, they will have a sheath that is just full of 5 foot long vegan sausage rolls, which they will load into a bow and fire arrow like down his gullet. Similarly, I can't help wondering what Peter will be so afeared of if somebody writes him a poem. And even as I said that, I knew exactly what I was afeared of. Because it'll be a poem about him being a yawning oik. Okay, that has to be my most satisfying Amban Sniper Rifle moment that I think I've ever had. Well, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife at this point, couldn't you? But you would be asked to leave the tournament. I realise this isn't a tournament. Somebody took a shot there. Just realise I'm talking very softly. And I think what this means is I'm attempting to fuse Fortnite with ASMR, which is a medium that I think won't work. Fuck, where is everybody? Last time I asked where is everybody, I got run over. Oh! Third's not bad, I'll take that. Right. Oh, look at that. Enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching this, and if you're Peter, get a life. Bye.